Hello, Pauper fans. This is Mathonical, and you are joining me for round 6 of the Pauper Challenge with Rally Gond. This opening hand, you can make an argument for keeping it, but you would need to draw a white source in the next turn or two to make it decent, because we do have the infinite combo, protection effects, life gain. I decided not to play the odds on drawing a white source. I'd rather just have a consistent hand and be able to play my cards guaranteed, so I go ahead and mulligan this. But of course, it is reasonable to keep this one if you don't mind playing to the outs of drawing a white source. Our second hand, we are able to play all our spells, and the Sense Enlistment means we can go for the long game, so I go ahead and keep this. On the top of our deck, our opponent did have to mulligan down to 5. That is unfortunate for him. Is a Rally of Peasants. We're going to keep that simply because we do have this Sense Enlistment, and that does give us reasonable winning chances. They are on some sort of black deck, which already does not bode well. Chainer's Edicts, either mono black or some sort of blue-black control. When we did Commune, we got the Bodyguard simply because we have no way of using the Presence of Gond yet, and we just kind of want to go wide and protect ourselves from any kind of Echoing Decays when we start playing this Sense Enlistment. He does end up killing it anyway, so whatever. We're going to start cashing in our Sense Enlistment and chipping in for some damage. After getting our bird tokens online, since it's unlikely they're going to have any kind of -1/-1 effects off the start, we're just going to swing with everybody, chip in for a ton of damage with Rally Peasants, and it turns out that is good enough for game 1. So if he's mono black, it's an okay matchup. If he's blue black, then we just got lucky that they didn't get black. Alright, you're going to jump into game 2. Maybe our luck is turning around. For sideboarding, I'm under the impression that he's playing some sort of blue-black. If he was playing a mono-black, it would have been very likely that they were playing things with 4 mana available, since they would have had Chittering Rats or some Phyrexian Ragers or the like. So we go ahead and bring our Pyroblast, expecting a blue-black control deck. I've also played him in the past, and he was playing blue-black then, so I felt like it was a fairly reasonable assessment. I take out the Prismatic Strands, they're terrible. We take out 4 of the Soul Sisters, since life gain isn't all that relevant, and they are incidentally dying to sweeper effects. An even split, just to play around Echoing Decay. Let's see. I believe we also bring in the Spider Silk Armors, simply because that allows us to play around the minus effects, and Mole Drifters are able to be blocked. So that is about it. Yep. Nothing too special. This is a fairly usual sideboard plan for this matchup, if he's on blue-black. Our opening hand in game 2. This hand is very reasonable to keep, simply because we have the 2 Commune with the Gods. That allows us to do a lot of digging for a lot of value. We also have the ability to try and find a Midnight Guard to go infinite. These cards allow us to lean on hands like this, and they are awesome. Bodyguard now gives us protection effect. We are very happy to get that. We're going to basically go to try and get a turn 3 guard online. Unfortunately, we did not find it, but that's alright. We did get a Soul Attendant and a Battle Screech in the board, or into the graveyard. We did draw it, but since he has mana available to counter it, we're not going to play it this turn. And we're just going to get our tap land online. We also have this Pyroblast, so we wanted to get a red source online to counter a counter spell. If that was going to come up, it turns out we didn't want to counter our Midnight Guard anyways. That's fine, he probably has some way of killing it. He hasn't played anything, so we're not going to go for it just because we have no way of playing around any kind of removal effects. Instead, we're just going to play the Commune with the Gods to get another creature to be able to cash in our Battle Screeches. We're also holding up double Pyroblast here. We want to counter a Mole Drifter, and if he does go for any kind of Mole Drifter, that does mean we're able to counter it and then go for the win. Turns out he had the removal spell that we were playing around, so good for us. We get in for as much damage as we can, but it turns out he does have an Echoing Decay. It's unfortunate, but we do have another Midnight Guard. We're drawing fairly well this game. So once again, we're just hoping that he taps out, so we can play the Guard. He taps out a black, which means we are now going to go for it. We have the Pyroblast to protect ourselves, and now we have a Benevolent Bodyguard to protect ourselves from remove spell next turn. He goes to try and counter it, but we were prepared for this. This is why we have Pyroblast on the board. And once we get the Presence of God online, our opponent does concede. So we did manage to win the blue-black matchup. We did have to get fairly lucky, but if that's what it takes, we will take it. We are now 4-2. Still have possible chances of getting top 8. So I will see you guys in the next round, round 7.